Part two, here we go. In the first part, I connected you to your Dropbox folder, talked about the library view panel that you see up on the left side here. Now I'm going to actually open up a PDF document, and we're going to kind of mess around with navigating that document and how to pull up some context menus. So I'm going to exit out to library view. I'm actually going to go into, I'm going to go into my Dropbox here. So Dave's files, here's my Dropbox again. Bridgton Academy. Actually, let me go back for a quick second. You notice Bridgton Academy is white and the rest of them are gray. That basically means something from the Bridgton Academy folder here in my Dropbox has downloaded. So it's all synced and ready to go. So I'm going to open up Bridgton Academy. And here's my textbook that I've got. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my textbook. You'll notice the panel up at the top is very similar to a regular file context. It looks gray in nature. And again, real simply, if I wanted to close it, I would just click on the X button. It would close. Go back and open it up. And you can scroll through this document just by using your finger gestures by scrolling through. You can just slide it up, and you'll see down in the bottom, you'll actually see it says page 7 of 69 currently. That goes away when you don't scroll anymore. Understand something though, whenever you pull up that page indicator, you'll notice that on my book I'm on page 2, but it says I'm on page 7 of 69. Obviously the PDF reader takes into consideration how many total pages are in the PDF. So these two may not jive with each other. Not a big deal, but just make sure your students know that. Sometimes pages don't jive. I'm going to spend a little bit of time in the thumbnail view. And if you notice to the left side over here, you'll see a little tab that you can actually pull and drag out. And this whole panel is the thumbnail view. Your book, your PDF will push out to the right, and you can actually scroll through the thumbnail view, and it's all based on page numbers. You see the page number of each one. You can go straight to a certain page just by clicking on the page. And the reader on the right side will actually automatically bring you to that page. The toolbox I'll cover a little bit later. That's kind of when we get into the annotation pieces. So you'll notice that you can actually scroll through the document that way. You can pull on the slider, and you can go all the way to the end of a document. Okay, so that's one way you can navigate this whole entire document. The other pieces I kind of want to show you are the context menus that pop up. Similar to most other apps, whenever you're using gestures, there are certain functions you use as a gesture that will pull up a certain contextual menu. So let's say I want to do something with page 15. I'm just going to push on 15, and I'm going to hold down on it. And this is the first context menu I'll show you. You've got obviously some options here: email, print. The thing that I thought was very cool, you can add a blank page if you'd like in between. So maybe after a page of important notes in a PDF file, as a student, I might want to add a page of my own notes. So very cool. So let me just try that. I'll add a blank page. So you get these options: add a blank page before or after. Let's say before. And you'll notice that now, oh, where'd it go? There it is right there, 15. So here's my blank page where I could actually type in some notes if I wanted to, saying note from page 14, certain notes on page 14 were very important, or I may give my own recollection of what I think the notes are, which could be interesting to say the least in some of our students' minds. So we added a blank page, pretty cool. Let's say I want to go ahead and I want to remove that blank page. So I hold down on the thumbnail again and I remove the page. I'll say delete page. So this PDF is fully functional, and the scary thing is that I can actually delete a page that is in the book itself. Okay, going back to that idea of saving a copy first, creating your annotated copy, and then making sure you're working on that annotated copy. I'll come back to that at the end of this video here real quick. You can go ahead, you can rotate a page if you'd like. Let's say we want to rotate that 90 degrees. Give it a second. Rotates the page 90 degrees. Not that that looks good here, but sometimes I want to, let's rotate that back. Rotate 270. Hey, I'm back to where it was. Quick math right there. What else we got here? You can actually, there we go. We can print the page. You can delete the annotations, and you can email this if you'd like. If I push email, it's going to ask you which file format you want to use, and you can read through these. Annotated, pretty cool. Annotated will pop up with your annotations in Acrobat Reader, which is free. Most computers actually have Acrobat Reader, so that's an interesting idea. Flattened will be in the annotations, you can edit them on the reader on the annotated piece. The flattened is annotations will appear, but you can no longer edit them. It flattens the whole thing right out, and you can't change the annotations at that point. Original is just the original document without any annotations whatsoever. Okay, so that covers kind of the thumbnail view. I'll talk about the menu down below once we have a document with some annotations in it. There's some other contextual menus you can pull up too as well. If I just lean on the name tag at the top and let go, this context menu will give you some options in terms of closing a document, present, sharing a document, print info, view, duplicate tab, delete. So you've got some options in there as well. I just want to hit the info real quick. This is kind of interesting. It'll tell you some information about the actual PDF file that you're using. If you threw tags in it in the library, it would give you that as well. Let's see some other options here too. If I click View Duplicate tab, I can open a new one up in another tab. So now I've got two books going, the same book obviously, but I can delete it. I can print it. Let's look and see what the share looks like. So you also can email it, which I showed you a few seconds ago. But you have this open in tab too, which as well. So let's say I pick annotated, and it basically will ask me, okay, I've got some pieces of software here that I can open this annotated PDF in. iBooks, obviously popular. It's on most iPads. I've got a couple three that I've downloaded. PDF Expert, don't worry about that one. That was one I was testing out. Quick Office is a Word reader. It allows you to edit doc files, which we may not use for our purposes here either. Notability should be one that you will become familiar with over time. So it allows you to open this document in another format as well. Present pulls you out of edit screen and puts you in full screen, and you can actually scroll in full screen. That would be when you'd probably want to push this up on an overhead, that kind of thing. So I'm going to end the presentation here. I'm back to regular screen, and close, obviously self-explanatory. So that's one context menu. A couple of other context menus I want to show you. If I go into the page itself and just lean on a blank space, I've got the ability to do some annotations right here. Let me actually lean into the paragraph. So this kind of kicks you into annotation mode, and you can go into Google, Dictionary, Wikipedia. There's a bunch of stuff there. You can underline, you can highlight, but you'll notice there's a blue box around some text now. If I pull on one of the handles of the blue box, it allows me to expand the blue box. I can now just annotate that whole group, and then I can as well, you can see exactly the magnification of where that blue handle goes. So you can change exactly where that goes. So I'm going to go down here. It highlights one word first. I'm going to expand that. Let's say I want the whole paragraph. This is where it gets a little touchy. So I'll expand that. Pull that one down for the whole paragraph. And you'll have to get good at this. It's a skill that, trust me, I'm still learning as well, as you can see. But the bottom line is you can actually select whole paragraphs if you'd like. I've found it much easier to use the annotation tools rather than to try to select certain pieces of text. And once I show the annotation tools, you'll see how that's a whole lot easier than trying to pull on those handles. Now, the last context menu I'd like to show you would be the recent tools, and you'll find this to be useful too, to be able to pull up the tools that you use most of the time. So if I double click anywhere on the page, you're going to get a recent tool palette, which will pull up. For this particular case, I've got some highlighting tools that I've used already, as well as an annotation paragraph or a notes paragraph that I've used at some point. This will change in terms of how often you use certain tools, but basically you grab and I'm kind of getting into annotation right now, but you grab an annotation tool, highlighting tool, and you can highlight. I'll cover this in depth a little bit better Okay, so those are context menus. Come back and we'll actually start annotating.